Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. I am dropping in with another special episode from On the Path, and this is an exclusive look into an episode I did a couple months ago because I get the question a lot, how do I get back on track? Or when people come to me wanting to work together in private mentorship, they're like, I just want to get back on track, right? And of course, I've felt this a million times. So in this episode, On the Path, we have something called a deep dive. And then we also have other types of episodes like meditation, the weekly assignments. We have our challenges, sometimes a pep talk. We have these different types of episodes. And this one is called a deep dive. So this is where I take one concept, one tool, one understanding, one, topic, and I go deep into that one thing. And so this is a deep dive on how to get back on track. Depending on your goals, we're going to use lots of different examples, and it's going to be really helpful to help you get back on track. One thing with On the Path is I truly do treat that community as if everybody is my one-on-one client. So this is exactly what my clients deal with, what I deal with, and how I take them through it. This is such a value-packed episode. I hope that you enjoy it. If you're enjoying these glimpses or you've thought about On the Path, you can check out a link below to get a free trial so you can check it out, see if it's right for you. And it's only $27 a month. You can cancel at any time. And that's the place that you come to really integrate the work, go deeper, put it into play, and start seeing those results in your life. So let's not go on and on without further ado. I hope you enjoy this episode from On the Path, all about how to get back on track. Welcome to On the Path, a sanctuary for seekers driven to manifest their soul's desires. Through mindset shifts, practical tools, and mastering energetics, we change our lives one day at a time. Hey Seeker, my name is Talia Joy, and I am here to teach you how manifestation really works and to guide you through your transformation. I'm going to help you to cultivate devotion to yourself, master your energy, and do the inner work needed to manifest a life that lights you up. I know you're ready for so much more, and I am ready to offer you the tools and education you need to move forward, to manifest your goals, and to stay on the path to your most fulfilling life. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to On the Path, and welcome back to this brand new deep dive episode. So this is going to be all about when we feel like we are off track or like we don't know where to start, we don't know how to get back into the game, we want to get back on the path, not just this podcast, but the self-growth work, the manifestation work. Basically, when we feel like we've been off track and we want to get back into that zone of empowerment, of growth, of moving forward. This is what this episode is about. So when I'm using examples, or when I'm talking about being off track, it could look like you've been neglecting self-care practices, or you haven't been journaling, you haven't been doing any self-growth work. Maybe you've been caught up in life, it's been busy or stressful, or something big has come that's thrown you sideways. Maybe you want to get back on track with nutrition or exercise, or all of it. Or maybe there's something else for you. It's more about hitting goals and you kind of haven't had your eye on the prize for, the goals you have. Whatever it is, something like that, or anything in between. That's what we're talking about when we feel like we have been off track, away from our practices, and we want to come back. So first, before we dive in, I want to say that in the show notes, there are recommendations of a couple other episodes to listen to on the path. And near the beginning of the show, in the core trainings, it's actually toward the end of the core trainings, which are in the beginning of the show. You get it, hopefully. There are two episodes that I recommend listening to. One is called Living on the Path, and the other one is called Living on the Path for Manifesting. For manifesting is in brackets. I'll put the names of those below so you can scroll back in the show and check those out. Those are two episodes about how to live this work. So it's not just on the path, here on the path and my methodology. It is the journey of self-growth. So how to live, or the one called Living on the Path, is really about how to navigate life with a growth mindset, with a manifestation mindset, being mindful and self-aware, noticing when things come up, knowing how to ask yourself, what's going on here, doing any healing work if necessary, reprogramming anything, moving forward. It's kind of like how to live this work. And then the other episode says in brackets for manifesting. And that's how to use this methodology toward manifesting. So you'll set a goal and then you'll need to dive into any of those limiting beliefs and do a little healing work. Same, right? The process of manifestation and the process of transformation are the same. It's starting in one place, knowing where you want to go and navigating, bridging the gap. That is the process of transformation. And with manifestation, we are transforming. We're transforming our lives. We're transforming our bank accounts and our bodies and our mindset and our schedule and our calendar and sometimes our career and everything, right? So go back and listen to those 2 episodes as well at some point, and that'll give you even more mojo when we talk about, I've been off track, I want to come back. I also wanted to say that I'm going to first talk about getting back on track in general, like your energy, getting back into quote unquote alignment, like just getting back on track. And then at the end, I'm going to run down how to get back on track toward your goals. Okay, so the first place I'm going to start, I have a bunch of really key points. They're sort of chronological-ish, but they're all really important things for you to navigate, and I'm going to put them in the show notes as best as I can. But the first thing is having a tremendous amount of compassion for where you are. So when we are off track, I would say quote unquote every time, but you'd hear me say that so many times. When we are off track, there's usually an energy built in that might contain some shame, some shooting on yourself, some sort of like, I've been off track. I know it's bad, or I've totally let myself go. Why do I do this? I said I wouldn't do this. Here I am back again. There's often energy in there. It's heavy. It's coated. It's layered. There's a lot of connotation behind even saying I've been off track, right? I think of when I used to diet or the dieting world, it's like you're being good when you're eating frickin' salads and then you're being bad when you're eating like a burger. And it's just not, it's so heavy with drama and judgment around your self-worthiness. It's just not even true. So the first step, whenever you feel off track of anything, whether it's been 7 years since you've meditated or it's just been a couple weeks you've got out of your daily practice, just have a lot of compassion for where you're at. And no matter why you've been off track, there's a reason, and we can have compassion for that. So sometimes the reason is like you've been really busy, you have a lot of commitments, a lot of obligations, maybe you have young children or aging parents or a career that is demanding, life's been busy, but sometimes we just get off track in our own like mental funk, and that's okay too. When I'm in a mental funk and I start like rejecting myself is how I kind of phrase it in my own self, is I start, not giving myself the meditation or not doing yoga or not getting as good of sleep or prioritizing water. These things kind of creep in, and I don't blame myself or shame myself about it because that makes it worse. So whether it's because your schedule is physically demanding or inside you've been hurting, you've been feeling ungrounded, you've been feeling misaligned, we can have compassion for that. Because if a friend said to you, I've been feeling so in my head, I haven't been eating right, I've been so, feeling shitty about myself or feeling like I'm not where I should be in life, you would never say like, what the hell, you should have been working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like you would just go, oh, sweetie, like it's okay. Have some compassion for yourself, take some downtime, take the pressure off, right? So that's the first place we need to start. Whether you have money goals that you're not on track with, or it's like self-care, it doesn't really matter. No matter what it is, we can have compassion for where we are, and we don't even need to know why we're here. It's just, this is where we are. This is the starting point for today. This is the starting point of where you're at right now. And that's kind of it. And we just wrap that in love and compassion and empathy. And if you start to get down on yourself, bring back that self-compassion. So the next thing that is one of the most important things about coming back to the work, coming back on track, this is kind of the whole work, but there's lots more to go through. But one of the most important things that we start to come back to is your well-being. Whether it's money goals or you want to get back on track with self-care, either way, we need to come back into our well-being. We have to first focus, before we focus on getting back to the gym and getting back to this, we need to nurture ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, like, what do I need mind, body, soul. And it doesn't have to be all of those, but even just one thing. What do I need right now? How can I kind of get back on track and back into good energy, back into myself, back into the rhythm? Because it's not just about fancy tricks to get you to journal. It's actually about getting back into a rhythm. And a rhythm implies longevity, devotion, some sort of why you're showing up for yourself, right? So we don't just launch into it by going back to the gym and then consider ourselves back. We need to get our mind back too. So that's why we have self-compassion. It's all good. It doesn't really matter how you've gotten here. It's okay. We're going to move forward and we love you and we have compassion for why you're here. And then what do you need? Have you been really tired? What does your body need? Have you been neglecting your water or maybe going on walks? We need to first start asking ourselves this because, as I say, being on track or being in self-growth, self-development, it takes focus and it's moving forward. And we want to make sure that you're in tippy-top shape. We want to make sure that you're doing well. So what do I need? Mind, body, soul. How can I start nourishing myself a little bit more? And that brings me into where we get a little bit more into the self-growth part. And this is where we come back to our authentic self. So this is why I put this right at the beginning of the core tools. This is another training I'm going to put below. I recommend you checking out if you haven't already, called The Authentic Self. It's literally the second official training. It's the beginning of the process. And this is where we look at our core values. So I get all my clients to do their core values because I truly understand and feel that it is one of the most important things for how to come home to ourselves. So as I describe in that training, which you obviously have access to, our core values are not just on our vision board, the things that we want to create. They are who we are. They are at the core of what we value. And without getting too far into this, because you can listen to it in the training, our authentic self is who we truly are. And that's where we become fully expressed. That's where we find confidence. That's where we find that why deep down, fueling ourselves with love, taking care of ourselves, being who we authentically are. That comes from the authentic self, and the core values are a huge part of that. So I really want you to think about that version of you that's a year in the future, 5 years in the future, that has manifested a bit more, a bunch more, quantum leapt from where you are now. That version of you has values, things that they value. So they may value their downtime. They may value their energy. It might be nature. It might be connection, family, abundance, success. It might be health, freedom, things like that. Those are core values. So go to that training. If you're really looking to get back on track, this is where we start. This is where I start with all my clients. Like I say, I make them all do their core values because we're going to keep coming back to this over and over and over. So when we get back on track, we want to get back, quote unquote, in alignment with our authentic self. And this could be incrementally, little bits at a time. It's not some overnight thing like, hey, on the weekend, I want you to just become your authentic self. It's a journey. But once you know those core values like freedom, nature, health, self-growth, things like that, once you discover your core values, those are the exact things to come back to. And I talk about this throughout the methodology at the beginning of the show or at the beginning of On the Path. It's everything, because our core values are what give us life force. They are what replenish us and make us feel nourished and taken care of. Our core values are the things that give us life force, the things that replenish us. So for me, a couple of my core values are freedom, nature, health, growth, spirituality. Those are my core values. So within that, when I'm feeling off track, I go, okay, what do I need? Do I need health? Nature? Is it growth? Like something here is holding me back and I need to look at this with a growth mindset. Is it spirituality? I need to meditate. I need to go into nature. I need to spend time in solitude or pray or, journal. Is it more about the spirit? And I come home to my core values. When I don't know what to do, I come home to my core values. When I need extra super freaking power inside because I've got something really big going on, really big manifestations, really big goals, I come back to my core values. That is what gives you life force. So when you're looking to get back on track, coming back to those things that are really important to you deep down. So one of them might be like connection or community. And maybe when you were feeling off track, you realize you haven't been connecting with your good friends, with your circles, with the people around you. And maybe your soul's really craving more community. Or maybe you haven't been getting out in nature very often because you've been so stressed and there's been so much going on. But even going for a short walk like fills you with life. I want you to start thinking of those things that are really important to you, not necessarily your goals important to you, but those things that replenish you and those things that make you feel just at peace. Just feel good, right? Like I look for those things that make you feel like you're floating in a lake with the warm sun on your face and you're floating suspended. And for a moment, like there's just no care in the world. All is well. What makes you feel that? Is it being in nature? Is it focusing on your health? Is it community, connection, love, gratitude? Is it, career or giving back, being of service? Uncover your core values if you haven't already. If you have, then it's time to ground into those. And when I'm feeling stuck, when I'm feeling off track, I literally go through each one and I go, what's one thing I could do that's nature? Easy, go for a walk or put my feet on the earth. Even drinking water, that's connecting to nature, connecting to the elements. What's one thing I can do for my health? Okay, drinking water, going for a walk. Sometimes they all lead back to the same thing. I kind of joke that yoga for me is like mind, body, and soul. It's like check, check, check with one thing. So those are the things to start to do for yourself, to start setting your attraction point, your energy in a better place. So self-compassion for where you are, focusing and asking yourself regarding your well-being, what do I need right now? Is there any area of life, mind, body, or soul that is heavily out of balance, that is heavily out of whack, that, my body's crying for something, or my soul really needs something, or my mind really needs something? Addressing those first, then coming into the authentic self and the core values, spending some time in nature, spending some time doing things that make you feel free, dancing around, taking a Saturday off, going on a little road trip near your town or whatever, just lightening up, focusing on those things that really replenish you. And then the next thing to do when you're feeling like you want to get back on track is to genuinely ask yourself, how do I want to feel? And even if you've asked yourself this a million times in your life, we always need to keep checking in, right? It's like drinking water. You don't just do it once and go like, I'm good. So we ask ourselves, how do I want to feel? And if you've been feeling frustrated or stuck or just kind of, out of the game, maybe it's like, I want to feel connected. I want to feel like I'm in my authentic self. I want to feel more laughter and joy. I want to feel more ease or more freedom. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel rested. I want to feel supported. So just starting to ask yourself, how do you want to feel? And what do you want for yourself? And this is where I'm going to get into a little bit more of the pep talk vibes. What do you want for yourself? What do you see in your mind's eye? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What kind of lifestyle do you want? And this is really the place in self-growth and in manifestation when we do need to start taking responsibility for our own lives, but in love. You deserve a life that lights you up. You deserve a life of love and freedom. You deserve to feel good about yourself. You deserve to say positive things about yourself in your head. You deserve to be healthy. You're worthy of putting aside time to be creative and to have fun. You're worthy of finding love. You're worthy of having connections in your life. You're worthy of feeling really good. We all get to have that. And it takes over and over again pivoting when we have felt off track, when we have felt, like we haven't had our head in the game. It just takes gently coming back and coming back from a place of what do you want for yourself? And sometimes I used to say to myself when I was in the eating disorder and then tippy-toeing out of it, kind of really on the edge, and I'd be like, what do I want for myself? Do I want a life with an eating disorder? Or do I want a life of freedom when it comes to food or my body or my inner critic? And that kept me holding on for a lot of the times when I wanted to slip back, when I feel like I was getting off track with my head in like a healing mindset and all of that. I'd be like, what do I really want for myself though? Because we can always go on doing the default patterns. We can always go on, we can choose to do the same thing again today and to do the same thing again tomorrow and to put ourselves aside and to pretend it's not worth it or to pretend we don't have enough time for even a 5-minute meditation or a quick walk. We say these things and we keep ourselves stuck. So this is the point where nobody can hold your hand and people can hold your hand. Nobody can make you do it. I can give you all the information. I can tell you how to spend 3 minutes a day turning around your life. But at the end of the day, you need to be the one that is committed to experiencing a life that you want to live. And sometimes life in the physical doesn't always pan out the way we thought. Sometimes it's like, I wanted to manifest that money for that thing and it didn't come through and I didn't understand why. Or I thought I should have bought a house like 5 years before I actually did. There's times when it's like, why isn't this happening? But we still have to learn to meet those times with a self-growth mindset, because at the end of the day, no matter what's going on, no matter what you're manifesting, you still deserve to have inner peace and harmony, inner safety and security, a nervous system that's regulated, a mind that is kind to itself. So no matter if you're quote unquote manifesting or not, if there's lots of money coming in, or if you've created the thing you want, either whether you have or whether you haven't, it's still an inside game. And when you start to ask yourself, what do I want for myself? How do I want to feel? And then going out and incrementally making little actions, which is my next point of inspired action, but taking actions in the direction of how you want to feel. And after I identify, I want to feel more ease, I want to feel more fun, I want to feel more freedom, we go out and incrementally create little actions that make us feel that way. In some ways, it's that simple. So freedom is really important to me as a person that is a very busy person, like most people. I'm a mom of 3. I have a full job. It's easy to feel like I don't have a lot of freedom and be like, well, I can't feel freedom until I have millions of dollars and I can go on trips and I can pay someone to clean my house and have more time, or when the kids are older, or when, right? We often think I can't feel that now. I have to wait till I manifest the thing, but that'll keep you stuck. So I know when I felt stuck in my life before, and even when I start to feel a bit stagnant, I focus on freedom and I'll go, okay, what makes me feel free? I gave some examples earlier, dancing around to a song or going on a walk or running down the road. I live like in the country, so it's like fresh air and birds, and I run down the road and I feel the breeze in my face, or, driving and putting my hand out the window like you're on a little road trip. That makes me feel free, going on road trips, maybe even a quick weekend getaway with my husband for just an overnight, or I take myself away to Airbnbs. So whether it's dancing around to a song, going on a walk, or taking myself away for a weekend, I try to do everything that I can do to embody that feeling of freedom. And there's lots of other ways that I bring in freedom. That's kind of, for another time. But when I identify how I want to feel more freedom, and then I start carving out those things, I immediately start feeling back on track. So if you want to feel more health, little things that you can do that make you feel healthy. Maybe it's getting more rest, and this week you focus on getting enough sleep. Maybe it's eating, raw greens every day, or making sure you're getting your water. All these things that make us feel healthy. It's that simple to start to get back on track, because our mind, our body, our soul, we get it all back online. We start simple things, taking our vitamins, getting a little bit better rest, maybe even journaling a couple times in the week. And we really do start all of a sudden feeling better. Like, oh, yes, this is good. Routine, ritual, back on track, right? So that is the next step, is inspired action. So taking these incremental upgrades, and inspired is in spirit. So it's action that comes from your spirit, that comes from your soul, something that feels really nourishing or feels inspired. Maybe it's something that just hits you that you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, right? Or maybe it's just like, it would feel really good. It would feel so good to just be in solitude for a weekend and go away and turn off my phone. And it might be an inspired idea like that. So starting to take incremental action that feels inspired, that feels like it's from your spirit or in your highest good, in self-care or self-love. And then the last thing I'm going to say about getting back on track just in general is to actually two more things, sorry, is to the first one is to create more quiet and more space in your life with low stimulation, without, YouTube going in the background or conscious stuff like noise going on, maybe background meditation music or whatever, sure, but really about creating quiet and space. So your intuition is trying to speak to you in the space. Your spirit team, your life in general is guiding you in the space. And when we are constantly stimulated, when our mind is constantly going, we're not creating space for those new insights, those new downloads, those new ideas to come forward. So you might feel back like off track, but when you're constantly either watching a video or, online doing something and you're being constantly stimulated, or you're just really, really busy in your schedule, go, 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 packed with all the stuff. Often we just need a little bit of space to reorient, to start to ask ourselves, what's really important? What do I really need? What can I do for myself right now? How can I get back on track? What does my body need? My soul need, right? What are my core values? What's really important to me? With a little bit of quiet and space, we can start to discover that. Often the answers come when we create a little bit of quiet. We realize why we felt so out of alignment, or we see how we've totally neglected taking our vitamins, or something simple that it's like, you know what, I'm going to get back on track. I'm going to start doing this. So some space, some quiet, that is how your spirit speaks to you. That is how your intuition, your soul speaks to you, is with a little bit of space so that you can hear it, so that you can sense it, so that you can receive those messages. Space also calms the nervous system. To have quiet, to have space helps you regulate so that you can handle stress even better when, normal everyday life is going on. And it helps you to reorient, to go like, okay, what's my next step? Where do I need to go? What am I being called to do right now to get back on track? So the last thing in this getting back on track is your environment. You guys, this is so important, especially if you're an empath or you're highly sensitive or you're a feeler in any way. Your environment is everything. So I highly recommend getting out, shaking it up. So maybe you felt stuck with exercise, start going to a class. Even there's been times where I'll enroll at like the rec center to a 12-week thing of some aerobics something, or a yoga class at a new studio or something that just gets me out. Instead of just me in my house, in my head, get out, join a group, or do, a random meetup, or get out with a friend instead of, exercising at home to a video. Get out and go for a hike with a friend. Switch it up. You can take your work, if you work from home, and you can take it to a coffee shop. You can go, write your content, in a Word document at the beach, or do something different. Shake up your atmosphere, especially for some of those things like meditation. Go to a meditation center, go to a yoga studio that hosts meditation classes. Like, shake it up a little bit. Even if it is online and you've been doing EFT on your own, do some led videos that are a different person or a different meditation than you've tried. Your environment is everything. So even changing the way you walk, like not the way you walk, like the style you walk, start walking like a total weirdo. No, changing like when you walk around the block or when you go a certain way, change it up a little bit. Drive a different way to work. Like sometimes we just need to shake up our environment. Do something totally different. On the weekend, drive out to the mountains or drive out to the ocean or drive out to somewhere other than where you are, and just spend a day doing something new, discovering something. You could even in your home reorganize, declutter, which is really so important for us in this time. The next episode on the path here is going to be about clearing. So that one will be one that we're going to get into that. But just changing up your atmosphere. If you have an office at home, do a deep clean on the office, rearrange some things, shift up your environment. Your environment is everything. Even you can unfollow a bunch of people on social media and follow a bunch of new people. So you're seeing different things. It's like we just want like a system refresh. Like when you restart your phone or refresh a browser, we want to refresh, and your environment will keep you in a certain mindset. So maybe there's people in your life you have to take like a couple week break from, or start doing something different. Just shaking it up, moving it up can really help you to start to shake up your energy. Okay, so this is kind of how to get back on track in general. Self-compassion. nurturing your well-being, your mind, body, soul, getting back in touch with your authentic self and your core values and asking, what would they do from here? What do they need more of? What are some of the things my authentic self does to help get back on track, to nurture myself daily, those kind of things. Asking yourself, how do I want to feel and what do I want for myself? And then really taking that inspired action. Even things that take 5 minutes, even micro actions have a macro impact. I've talked about this for a long time. So inspired action is in spirit, and whether it's drinking water or investing a huge amount of money in yourself, both are equally as powerful. And it just depends on what you authentically need right now. So starting to take that inspired action toward your mind, body, and soul, toward what you know you need. And then quiet or space, creating more space in your life, creating more quiet on a weekend, in your schedule in general, just creating a little bit more space in this time. And then your environment, shifting up your environment, decluttering, rearranging, going to work from a coffee shop, going, on a different hike, go to a different yoga studio, just kind of shifting up the energy helps to kickstart and reboot you as well. Okay, this part's just going to be a little bit quicker because I've gone through a lot of the key points. But when we have been off track with our specific goal, so I want you to take a goal, maybe it's health, a certain money goal, something that you've been wanting, just acknowledging where you are right now with that self-compassion, and also asking, what do you want for yourself, or where's the end result here? So if it's a goal, it might be, completing your book, meeting somebody, starting your own business, making a bit more money, taking care of your health, whatever it is. Where do I want to go and where am I now? And then I highly suggest, just like your environment is important, immerse yourself in the energy of that goal. Learn, absorb, get in the energy of it. Make it your full-time job to not just figure out how to do it, but get inspired around it. So when I lack inspiration in my business or in anything in life, I just start I'll go into a week of, I call it student energy, where I go back and I listen to courses that I've purchased or my favorite podcasters, or I dive into what's been calling me. I want to look more into past lives or the laws of the universe, or I'll just kind of let myself explore and soak up. And through that, I get inspired. So if you have a certain goal, you want to make more money, you want to start a business, instead of just being stuck or off track, maybe it's health, get in the atmosphere, start listening to podcasts about it, start buying courses or books, whatever you can do, work with a mentor, get in the energy of that goal. That is something that is so powerful that I myself have gone I can't afford it so many times without realizing the massive benefit of either having a mentor or being in a group. But you can do this also with, as I say, the podcasts you listen to, the books you read. Put yourself in the energy of learning how to do it. I don't know how to start a business. Okay, let's learn how to start a business on youtube.com and start learning. Immerse yourself in the energy of money mentality, or of starting a business or finding love, healing wounds, whatever it is, whatever you're going for, start to immerse yourself in that. And if it's health or something, not everybody you listen to is going to have the life-changing advice, but you will get inspired. You will start to hear what you need to hear, and you will jumpstart your energy. So get into a group, get into a challenge, read books. I was going to say read podcasts. Read books, listen to podcasts, do whatever you need to do. Maybe go back through courses you've bought of other people's or meditations you have. But get into the learning, get into the absorbing of information, not information overload, but get into the space. It activates you. It calls you forward. It's hard to get motivated when you feel alone. But when you immediately start listening to someone or being taught by someone or working with somebody that has done it, that believes in you, it kickstarts your goals, which then kickstarts your energy, which then you have momentum, and it's a whole vibe. So being really aware of where am I now, where do I want to go, and then dive into learning about it. Read books, consume content, do meditations, learn from teachers, get in the energy of that which you want, and then start taking inspired action. And again, inspired action is from spirit, inspired, but really, just start doing. Just start. When it comes to your goals, any action is better than no action in some ways. So if you go like, I want to start a business, but I don't really know what to do. Well, what can you do? Well, I know I want to make an Instagram. So let's just like start the Instagram. Well, I don't really know what to post. Okay. Let's just start YouTubing or Googling or, following accounts that talk about how to grow a business from 0 followers. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Those are some neat tips. Okay, I'll try that kind of post. Oh, that did pretty well. How to do viral reels. Oh, okay, this thing. And that's literally what learning is, right? So in some ways, just taking action when it's toward your goals, just taking action and then going like, how did that feel? Did it work? Did it not work? It's useful information. We just keep going. So with health, you may try, bringing up the fats and you're eating more avocados and olive oil. And then you start noticing your tummy's a little upset and you're like, okay, maybe a little bit too many fats. So I'll scale that back on the oil. Okay, here's a good balance. It's not just one action and bam, you're successful. It takes incremental upgrades. Climbing up a mountain is literally one step at a time. And each step is like, am I going the right direction? Is this sure footing? Do I need to go back down and go around that way? That's the journey, my love, especially with business. Like, oh my goodness, I've just tried so many things. Same with health, same with healing chronic pain, from supplements to meditations to chanting to different healing work to, all sorts of different diets and different things for chronic pain. And I found little bits and parts that worked within all of them. So when you have goals, acknowledging what you want and then just get in the arena. You don't have to follow all the advice, but just start learning, get in there, be a good student. And it's almost like in some ways, like figure it out. Everything is figure outable. Google it, hire someone, join a challenge, read a book. You can do this. You've got this. Taking that inspired action, as I said, and then really realizing, and we have earlier, just a couple months ago, we have here a devotion series that we talked about devotion. You can look back for that 3 in a row. And it's really about devotion to your goals. So that's why one action isn't necessarily the thing that takes you from 0 to 100. And if that didn't happen, then it didn't work and it's impossible or anything like that. It's really about being devoted. Just like people are devoted to their spiritual well-being or devoted to their nutrition or to their health, devoted really means like I'm committed. I'm intending for, consistency here. And when we're devoted, even if we quote unquote get off track, we just come back. Devoted is showing up each day with that fresh commitment to do our best or to nurture our health. And when we, again, get off track, we just come back. We're just devoted. It's not in or out. It's not all or nothing, but continuing to be devoted to your goals. How can you double down on what's working? How can you try something new? How can you let go of the things that are not working toward your goal? Really staying devoted to those goals, that is the only way you have success. Do not give up. The only people that fail are the ones that give up. If you keep trying, if you keep making your way there, if you keep saying to yourself, my success is inevitable, it almost doesn't matter how long it takes because I am so devoted to my well-being, to my manifestation, to my wealth creation, to my health. That's it. There's no other option. That energy is on fire. So create that devotion to your goals every day, showing up with inspired action. Some days, if you're feeling like poop or you're feeling really down, that inspired action can be taking a day off, taking a bath, journaling, talking to your mentor, getting a massage. Inspired action doesn't always have to be like, go, 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 but it's continually and continuously nurturing yourself, showing up for your goals, nurturing your mind, body, soul. And then the last part I want to talk about is support. So no matter what, when you're getting back on track, my love, you need support, whether it's your bestie, whether it's community members, fellow mom friends, your lover, your cousin, your friends, a coach, a mentor, a community of some sort. Whatever you do, that's why I'm talking about getting your head in the game and learning and putting yourself in the arena, because you are the sum of the energy you pick up on. You're the sum of the mentalities around you. You're the sum of the narratives around you. It's really hard to go at something when you feel alone, when you feel like you're the only person in your life who thinks this way. Maybe your family doesn't think this way. Your friends circles don't think this way. You need to find community in some way that do think this way. So maybe it's a local, yoga studio that offers really cool workshops and meditations and, like-minded people, or a retreat, or it's hiring a mentor that believes in you. I always tell my clients, my full-time job is to help you get from A to B. Like, my full-time job is to support and help you and give you what you need each day. That is my full-time job. Finding someone who is committed to your growth. And it could be, having support from a lover or from someone close to you, and you're saying, hey, I'm starting out on this journey, and like, can I share with you as stuff goes on? Like, I just kind of wanted to share because it's kind of exciting. I'm really going to be devoted to creating a business, or I'm going to try to meditate every day for 30 days. I'm just going to try just having someone along for the journey. It's not for some false sense of accountability. You can do this on your own, but it's so much easier with support, with people who love you, with that support system. They also have resources or mindset shifts for the days you feel low. They can tell you, like, keep going. I believe in you for the days that you don't believe in you. Support is so important, whether it's paid or it's the people in your life. Support is like number one. When I'm flailing too much, I'm like, okay, I need support. Like, I need to talk to somebody about this. I need to ask for guidance. I need to just see someone else's perspective. And sometimes I get a reading from like a trusted medium or something, or I'm hiring, I realize I haven't had a coach in a few months and I really have some business stuff I need to go over, or, something like that. Or I'm, venting to my bestie, leaving her like a 25-minute voice memo about everything that's been going on. Whatever you do, you need support. You deserve support, and it will help you to keep your head in the game and keep you back on track, or keep you coming back on track. So to sum all this up, when we get back on track, it's just like we've kind of gotten away from the alignment, the practices, the things that kind of align us with our highest outcome. It's totally fine. It happens in life. In fact, the only thing that determines our success is our ability to come back. There is no real on and off the train, on and off the track. That's perceived. This is life. Life breathes. Sometimes we're more into exercise, or more into, journaling, or sometimes we're more into dealing with everything that's right in front of us in life that we're not paying attention to that stuff as much. And it's okay. No matter what's gotten you here, it's totally fine. Today's a new day. Tomorrow's unwritten. You can do this. You've got this. So to come back on track, have a ton of self-compassion for yourself. Start coming back to your well-being. What do I need? My mind, my body, my soul, my core values. Where have I been neglecting my core values? What are my core values? If you haven't done that, check the show notes, of course. How do I want to feel? What do I want for myself? How can I start taking inspired action in my mind, body, soul? How can I create some space in my life, some quiet? How can I shift up my environment, refresh my environment, bring my environment back to life? And then toward your goals, realizing where you are right now, your income compared to your goal, or where you are in your health compared to where you want to be. Learn, absorb, get in the energy, dive deep, find teachers you like, find mentors you like, find people that describe things in a way that resonates with you, and immerse yourself in their energy. Believe in yourself. Use their energy to believe in yourself, while you're gathering your own energy to believe in yourself. You know what I mean? People that can hold the faith for you before you have that full faith in yourself. That's helpful and normal, and we all need to do that. Taking that inspired action towards your goals, creating devotion towards your goals, the energy of showing up each day and showing up in, okay, what do my goals need today? Is it a big action day? Is it a nourishing my energy type day? What do I need? And then that last aspect is getting support, having people that support you in your journey, that know of your, success, that see you as that root you on no matter what crazy idea you have. Surrounding yourself in support, getting a mentor, being part of a group if you can, or just really relying on those people around you, not for even answers or to keep you accountable, but just for someone to see you. For someone to see you in what you're becoming, to see you on that journey, to believe in you, to hear your goals and dreams and go like, you've got this. We all need that, and it goes so far. So my love, I hope that this has helped you. This was quite the deep dive. I hope to hear that you're getting back on track. Use the tools, the trainings, the meditations here on the path. You can just open up a random weekly assignment to get inspired, do a random meditation, go back through the methodology. There's so much here to help you get back on track as well. Okay, my love, you're doing a great job. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode.